Hello. For those who don't know me, I'm Sean Basie, and I'm Saint Facetious. In other words, I write the blog www.saintfacetious.com. I used to keep up a little bit of a vlog, just more as an accompaniment to the blog, just reading the blog, but now I'm actually going to go a bit more freeball at it. So here I am, and we're going to have this every time a blog comes out, and I'll just be talking more freely on whatever subject is going on. And there's also a podcast version of this, so if you'd rather listen to it on your commute to work or school or university or your jog or whatever, and for some reason you want to hear my sweet voice, then you can just follow the link down below. And then I also have an upcoming book. So most of this is geared toward the new coming book, all these subjects of the blog, which is a facetious guide to traveling with children. And if you'd like to get more info on that book and be alerted when it comes out, please click below on the newsletter. And let me know also if you want to be like a review reader or get an advanced copy and things like that. I unfortunately can't send autographed copies because I'm in Europe. I'm living in Belgium, even though I'm speaking mostly to an American audience, or maybe not. Yeah, well, hi, Mom. That's the audience, right? Anyway, so yeah, let's get started. This week we're talking about traveling in Colorado with your kid, because that's where we went. We went to Colorado over the holiday. So things to do in Colorado with your kid in winter, specifically, as the title of this vlog. Okay, so number 10. Last year we discovered Granby Ranch. I had kind of heard about Granby Ranch before, but never really attended it because it was a smaller place. And when I was living in Denver, it didn't really register to me because I was always going to Winter Park on the ski train. But then the ski train closed after I left. But now I hear it's open again, so that's another option that's not on this list. But check that one out too. Anyway, Granby Ranch is great for kids. As we discovered last year, we had a little cabin right on the ski slope, which was next to the lift. A lift we were at was a bit difficult for my kid, though. It was for Blues, and he's 5 years old. This is his second year of skiing, so obviously not the best option for him. But down at the base camp, they have a wonderful little bunny slope. Like, they have 3 lifts on it, 2 magic carpet rides, one really short, one long. And then they have a proper lift. It's kind of like a training lift for kids. And that's great, like kids and beginners. I'm sure my mom would be taking that if she could still ski. Hi, Mom. Yeah, so it's great training ground. And my kid took like 3 classes last year, 1 class this year, and then he was zooming down. Zoom. And he was doing pretty good, being able to ski without falling down and sometimes turning in time before he was going to, like this one time he was going to go right into the ski lift, but I swooshed down and stopped him. And mainly because he doesn't listen to our commands, even though he's more than happy to listen to teacher commands, as kids do. Yeah, I'm sure if you're a parent, you know all about that. Yes. Although some kids maybe don't even listen to teachers. I don't have that problem yet, I should say. Next on our list is sledding at Hidden Valley or Mueller Park. So if you're in Denver, vacationing in Denver area, there's Hidden Valley. If you're vacationing in Colorado Springs, there's Mueller Park. Now, the issue with sledding, like, yes, you're right up against the mountains, you're in the Front Range, but everywhere has fences. Like, you have to drive for hours to find a good hill that's not fenced in. And that's it's a big problem, I guess, in the States, because everybody owns something, and nobody wants you on that land. Which, is that a problem? I don't know. I'm not here to talk about economics, but rather about traveling with your kids. So there you go. With Hidden Valley, it used to be a ski resort way back in the day, and then it kind of closed down because there were better ski resorts in the area. And Rocky Mountain National Park has been trying to brand itself as a winter destination, so now it kind of opened it up as a sledding hill right there near Rocky Mountain National Park. And so you can go sledding there, and yeah, all sorts of fun. Now, Mueller Park, on the other hand, is a state park, and both parks have snow all winter long, regardless of the weather, really. Mueller Park, you could be driving to Mueller Park and have no snow whatsoever as you go up into the canyon through Winter Park, and then you arrive there at Mueller Park, and then it's snow, and then you get a sled. Okay. Now the snow might be a little crunchy depending on the weather, of course. So you just have to go and see. Next up is the tubing at Fraser Hill. That's number 4. And so tubing is when you have this big inner tube and you get on it and shoot down, and it goes really fast, surprisingly. And overall the bumps and pretty smooth ride. Now the tubing hill at Fraser Park, like they have a little lift, and it's a dedicated hill just for tubing, no sleds allowed. It's a pretty cool place, but it gets crowded like fast, so you got to go early. Last year we went and there was just so many people we gave up. And then this year my cousin actually went, and it was a really bad weather day and they were sold out. And you can't reserve, so you just have to go early. But it is something great to do. There's also Tubing Hill over at Monarch, Colorado, and probably a couple more like at Breck or something. But those aren't easily accessible if you're vacationing in Denver or Woodland Park. I mean, who vacations in Woodland Park? If you're vacationing in Denver, Colorado Springs, if you're on holiday there. So next up is the Electric Safari at Cheyenne Mountain. And this is during December, so their little light period, the festival light period, Christmas holiday lights. By the way, holiday, it means holy days. People upset by happy holidays. You got me. Anyway, the Electric Safari is on the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. Is in the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, and the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo it has the unique characteristic of being the most well-defended zoo in the world. I kid you not. It sits right on top of NORAD, which stands for North American Defense, Northern Air Defense, I forget this one every time I try to speak it. NORAD, something defense. I think it's defense. Pretty sure. It's a big mountain. They have hidden tunnels and hangars and things shoot out of it. Probably. I don't know. I've never seen that. Supposedly they'd move the president there if DC was under attack. But I don't know because I'm just a blogger in Brussels, and I'm not over there anymore. I used to live in Denver, but not Colorado Springs, and I'm not in the military. I was in Peace Corps. Opposite of military. Anyways, the Electric Safari, it has over 85 different light installations and light effects, and it's only open at night. It's sometimes animals are more active at dusk than during the day or the night. I believe that's diurnal or something kind of animals, and you get to see a lot of those. They had the budgies. Is that what Australians call parakeets and stuff? They have a whole house of those, and you get to feed them, and the kids get to feed them. It's really great. So yeah. There are some great walks as well, some low elevation hikes. Now again, this is like I was saying about sledding. Yeah, sure, you could go out and walk anywhere, but you have to know where to walk, where the hikes are, know the right stuff. So if you don't, the easiest thing to do is just go to the parks, right? So near Denver, there's Red Rocks. In Colorado Springs, there's Garden of the Gods. But let's talk about Red Rocks. That's number 6. Red Rocks is a pretty cool spot. It's a concert venue, actually. And it's carved against the mountain with all these beautiful rock formations all around you. And you get an amazing view of Denver. And I've seen both Reggae Fest and Nine Inch Nails there. Now, Reggae Fest is a blast because it's the Red Rocks amphitheater. It's kind of scooped out of the side, right? It's an amphitheater, and all the weed smoke just kind of hovers down, so you don't even have to be smoking to get a bit that high. And I recommend not driving there, but I don't know about public transit these days. Back in my day, there was no public transit, so you just had to drive, and that was never a good idea. As I just said, it was probably one of the worst ideas in my life. I didn't factor in the weed thing never mind. Okay, we're not here to talk about weed and Red Rocks concerts, but rather the stuff you can do with kids around there. Don't smoke weed with kids. So around there's a lot of good walks and hiking. in like lower elevation stuff, so it's not so cold. You can usually get the better weather off of that. Also, they have Wild Bill, Buffalo Bill's. That's his name. They have Buffalo Bill's grave. And Buffalo Bill, if you don't know, he started like the rodeo movement. Was it a movement? Started the rodeo movement back in 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s, and doing like roping tricks, archery, shooting, riflery, horsemanship, and all that. Now, the funny thing about the horsemanship, the horse tricks in the show that they had, when Buffalo Bill was touring in Europe, in London specifically, he came across a group of horse riders from Georgia. And these guys, specifically the Gordia region, and these Georgians were like really excellent trick riders. They practiced an art called Zirdikovka, I believe it's called, like this Turkish horsemanship. And they came back with Buffalo Bill to the U.S., joined his rodeo, and toured around with him. And they're kind of like, they can be considered the fathers of American trick riding. Like, this whole idea of this showmanship with kind of an Old West character is what gave birth to the rodeo. There were probably rodeos going on before, but this is really, this was the event, the touring event, the Buffalo Bills thing that really gave birth to the modern idea of what a rodeo is. I mentioned just now the Garden of the Gods. So that's Colorado Springs' answer to Red Rocks. You'll see there's some weird sort of like, what is the word? Like there synchronicity between Denver and Colorado Springs. A lot of similar things that you can do. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. So Colorado Garden of the Gods is another area with a whole bunch of crazy, really beautiful rock formations. It's great for walking, especially in winter because it's a bit warmer than in the mountains. One risk is it can get a little icy because they have paved trails, walking trails, so you got to watch out for that. But otherwise, really great for kids, easy, so you don't have them whining too much. I know mine, as soon as you start walking 10 feet, they're like, help me, help me. He's like that. He's not a they. He identifies as a he, pretty sure. Visiting the Denver Museum of Art and History, or of Nature and Science. The Denver Museum of Nature and Science. I've been to a lot of science museums here in Europe and over in the US, and I have to say that this one is still my favorite one, the Denver one. And it just kind of includes a lot of everything, not just one thing or the other thing. Like I was in Pilsen, the birthplace of Pilsen beer, and they had a great science museum, but it wasn't everything at one time. And the Denver one really is. Like it covers all the grounds. They have dinosaur bones. They have geological formations inside a cave. They have all sorts of hands-on projects. There's a planetarium, and they had the best view of Denver downtown, like cast against the Rocky Mountains from the balcony, the back balcony. If you go there, check it out. Good pictures. They are just a great museum. So it's wonderful for kids, still fun for adults too. I think both people will kind of enjoy that experience. Then there's over in Cripple Creek. So let me explain Cripple Creek. So in Colorado, you have a few gambling towns. Mostly gambling's not allowed, but there are a couple towns have casinos. There's Cripple Creek, there's Black Hawk, there's Carson City. Those are the towns where the pioneers came in, stole some land, claimed it for the home, set up some casinos and gold mines all around. The gold mines and casinos kind of go hand in hand. There's also two more casino towns down in the south in Ute Nation territory. So that's still owned by the First Nations tribe, Ute. And those are, let me read them, Ignacio and Tawak. I haven't been there myself, but I think they seem to be in beautiful areas too. And if you're on the way to Mesa Verde, you have to kind of go through that area anyway. So you should check those out too, if you're over there. But yeah, so near Cripple Creek, I wish they would really capitalize on the Old West feel. There is already a bit of an Old West saloon feel going on. Go cheesy with it, guys. Wear some cowboy hats or whatever. But instead, they built this big glass hotel called Chamonix. And the irony here is, I think the developers are trying to bring in a European feel, I guess, or be with a European name. And they want to bring big acts in to perform, which is cool. But why the big glass structure? Because that doesn't make any sense in the European context either. If you go to Chamonix, you don't see big glass structures right in the middle of the old town. You see Old Town. It's a really beautiful old town, and then you go out. Sure, there's some modern structures on the outskirts, but not in the middle of it. Yeah, there's like a little mall area, I guess, but that's not in the old town, so that's separate. In fact, I can't think of any. It's been a while since I was in Chamonix. I can't think of any glass structure. But yeah, okay. Anyway, the ice castle's there. So there was this guy. Let me check his name. Yeah. Okay, so there's this Utah gentleman named Brent Christensen, and he was really excited about all the snow in his backyard, and he decided to build an ice castle for his daughter. And that became locally famous. So he was like, hey, this is a business opportunity. So he started building ice castles everywhere. Not everywhere, just a few places. 2 places in Colorado, Cripple Creek and Eagle. And then in Utah, in his town, and I think in Minnesota somewhere. I don't know where the other ones are. But the one in Cripple Creek is pretty cool. And it stays open from, I want to say, end of December through March. You'll have to check those dates. It depends on weather. And also what depends on weather is how great the castle is. Sometimes it's really awesome. Sometimes it's kind of meh. It's different every year. Last year was really awesome. Like they had like battlements to walk up on, and you'd slide down some slides. They had 3 slides last year. I was really, pushing it on my friends and relatives that were there during our visit. And we get there this year, and it's just 1 slide. 2 slides technically, but one was like a little dinky slide. But then they had hot chocolate, flavored hot chocolate. So it was still pretty cool. They make these huge ice formations with LED lights inside, so they glow in different colors, and it's a pretty cool experience. I recommend it. Also nearby there's a troll. You can have a short hike to, and this is not such high elevation, not low, so there's probably going to be snow if you go there in the winter, as we were there. Was kind of half snow, but it's still nice for a walk. The troll is not that far of a walk, really. She's pretty close to the road. Her name's Rita. You can find her over on Google Maps. And there's a guy, there's a Danish guy named Thomas Dambo, and he goes around the world building these huge trolls made of recycled materials. And I say I guess he designs them, but he really gets a team of like 50 people to help him build it. And apparently in Belgium here, near Brussels, near Mechelen, there's a place where he's built a whole troll village. So I got to go check that out. They got like 5 or 6 trolls, and it's right on the ground of Tomorrowland. So even though I can't afford to go to Tomorrowland, I can go there in the off season and enjoy the troll. But the trolls are... Yeah, but this troll here, Rita, that's there, and it's a pretty cool sight. My kid loved it. So yeah, I think he's probably more impressed by the ice castle than Rita, and even more impressed by the stuffed animal that his cousin gave him after the ice castle. He loves those stuffed animals, as kids do. And last but not least, there's the Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource, and that's in Woodland Park. That's actually on the way to Mueller Park and Cripple Creek. Those are all kind of near each other if you want to do one trip at a time. The Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource Center was started by a guy. The Rocky Mountain Dinosaur Resource Center was started by a guy named Mike Trebold, and he grew up just loving collecting dinosaur fossils, as one does. And he made his fame because he discovered one of the first mostly complete statues of a Pachycephalosaurus. And if you don't know what that one is, that's the one with the hard head. I only know that because I have a 5-year-old son. When he was 3 years old, he was always listening to this song called like Pachycephalosaurus. He's the king of headbutting, something like that. I don't want to get copyright strikes, so I'm not going to sing the whole song for you. Yeah. At the Dinosaur Resource Center, they have lots of skeletons, a huge area. It's a pretty famous site now. So if you're in Colorado Springs, it's definitely a must-see. All right, and that's your top 10. There are obviously other places to go in the winter. Some places I didn't mention in the blog, like Santa's Village, I haven't gone to. So these are all places I've gone to. I would recommend. So there are places I haven't gone to, so I can't recommend. Look down in the comments. Type away if you're like, no, there's also this place, this thing, this cool family thing to do in Colorado in winter. Type it down there. If you're interested in checking out my book, follow on my newsletter. Also follow on my newsletter for any updates to the blog or to the podcast or to here and get the links there. And yeah, subscribe and like and do all that fun stuff. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed and have a nice day. Ciao.